Hitendra, it's wonderful to have you back at the Global Leadership Summit. Thank you very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to make a special mention because HSBC has been partnering with us, not just for the Global Leadership Summit, but for something else that is very, very close to my heart personally. It's our campaign called Future Female Forward, where we talk about the need for gender neutrality, gender parity in the workforce. So thank you again for partnering with us for both this as well as for Future Female Forward, Hitendra.
Only thing, you should have said it's close to our heart.
Yes,
not just yours.
I admit, that was a mistake. It is close to our heart, absolutely. But, you know, through the course of the day, we've had the global economy being described as tenuous, as volatile, as uncertain. But there is unanimity and consensus as far as the Indian economy is concerned. Stable is perhaps the most sort of underrated adjective that I've heard so far this morning about the Indian economy. So let's put that in balance. What's happening globally with respect to what's happening in India? Hitendra, how do you see the picture today?
Yeah, so I think you said it yourself. I think if you look at the monetary policy statements or any policy statement of any central bank, ECB, Bank of England, Federal Reserve, Reserve Bank of India, I think the word that's been most commonly used is uncertainty, right? Because we are living through unprecedented times in terms of policy actions. And I don't think any of us, any policymaker, any sovereign has a playbook. What happens if your tariffs go to X levels? What happens if certain products you just are not allowed to export or allowed to import, etc. So far, I think we have to say that the wise people about a year back or at the start of the year were indicating that there would be deep recession by now. There will be highly inflationary economies by now. Now, whatever is happening, that's not the case. We are not at the cusp of a recession, and we are certainly not looking at runaway inflation of the types that were feared 8-10 months back or so. So if you sort of go by that narrative, and then to your question on India, right? I mean, you look at India, political stability, whichever way, 10, 11 years of extreme political stability. You know, we get upset when we grow at 5.5%, right? Which is higher than the average rate of growth of the world. Inflation has been low and stable now for the last 7-8 years, more than it's ever been. We've got financial sector stability, market stability. So if you look at India in the context of a world which seems highly uncertain, clearly we shine out. We shine out in pockets. You know, I think in the previous panel, we were talking about how much infrastructure is getting built, etc. So yes, I think by all accounts, the moment is ours to seize as a country. Because if there is a shining beacon out there in the world which shows stability, promise, growth, certainty, then that's India. So now, as citizens, as part of the financial system, as part of the communication or the media system, or policymakers who've been here since morning, I think all of us are seized of the opportunity. Let's see what we do with it.
It is our moment to seize, as you put it, Hitendra Dave. But you know, the HSBC Global Leadership was here in India a few weeks ago. We've got many global leaders who've been in and out of India at this point in time. One of the issues or the dissonance that's being discussed is that while there's a lot of interest, a lot of enthusiasm about the India story, the domestic market, as well as the opportunity to export from India, at this point in time, there seems to be some hesitation, some pullback, or a pause perhaps on FDI flows coming in. What's the sense that you get from the conversations that you're having? Is this a tactical pause at this point in time, given the uncertain waters we're in?
Yeah, so I think it's a very fair observation that on the one hand, we have this wonderful narrative of India, which we spoke in the earlier part just now. And then you look at the data, and it seems to suggest that the flows are not commensurate with the narrative that we have or with the visits by various boards, ours included, etc. But again, you know, boards are responsible to shareholders, and they are all living in the same uncertain world, right? You set up a factory here, commit a very large amount of FDI running into hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. And then you suddenly find that product which you were producing in a country to export to another country, or the inputs for which were coming in from another country, either the supply chains are no longer as easy as they were, or the cost of import or the cost of export has changed, or the price of export has changed. So I think it's fully understandable, and we have to also understand this is all a 2025 phenomenon. You know, we are not talking 5 years, 10 years of that period where
So
you
you're
say,
saying it's more of a here and now issue?
yes, it's a here and now issue, and I think any board member would want to be a little cautious. But I also caution against over-reading into this, the fact that FDI has not come in. I think if you visit the city of Hyderabad, that is FDI. The whole city is FDI there for you. It's just not in the conventional sense of factories and goods and on the trains. The whole
GCC story,
the whole real estate there, the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who are working there, they are receiving FDI every month, which is their salary. It doesn't come as one bulky $500 million, but it comes as 200,000 per person every month into whatever number of millions. So there are sectors where FDI is coming in, and at the numbers level, and I'm sure you are aware, but for the benefit of the audience here, our gross FDI number actually hasn't come down as much.
Yes.
But what has reduced is the net, and that is simply because of the very buoyant stock markets we had. We had the SEBI chairperson here in the morning. If you have opportunity to take some chips off the table, monetize some of your companies, and we've seen, then, you know, it's X coming in, Y going out. It's X minus Y, which has shrunk because there was no Y earlier.
Yes.
It was only X. So that's where I would.
You know, I'm glad that you brought up the capital market story, because why we have seen a lot of MNCs make use of the attractive valuations that the Indian market is offering and do sales here and take back that money. The other interesting aspect is also MNCs listing in India. We've had Hyundai list in India, LG list in India. You know, do you believe that this could be the start of a significant marked shift as far as the MNC in India story is concerned?
Well, I can only share what we are observing and what we are talking to our franchise globally. I think wherever me and my colleagues are traveling, especially in the Western world, but even increasingly now in the Asian countries itself, or when we are being visited by senior CEOs and CFOs and board members, the one topic that regularly comes up is, what do you think we should be doing with our Indian business? Okay, and to that extent, if there are 100 such conversations, that means 20 of them will become serious and 10 of them will actually convert into a decision to go and list the Indian. And, you know, again, I'm sure the audience knows, but you took the example of LG, right? I mean, or Hyundai. I think when we were part of the Hyundai deal, Hyundai globally was trading at a PE multiple of 5. By the time we listed the Indian company, that PE multiple had gone from 5 to 9, and the Indian company listed at a multiple of 23.
Yes.
And this is after they had taken out substantial dividend in the preceding few months. LG India is today valued at more than LG globally.
Yes, more than the parent.
So again, if you are a board member and you are seeing such amazing opportunities, it is only natural that some people will say, let's do the listing in India. And from an India perspective, I think we should welcome this change, because...
Do you believe that we're likely to see this continue?
Yes.
More of these listings?
Yes, I think as long as our stock markets remain, especially the primary markets remain as buoyant as they have, and as long as the mutual fund Sahi Hai campaign continues to provide monies to domestic mutual funds and the retail individual investors, I think also we must understand some of these companies are also providing alternatives to the conventional Indian companies, right? They give you a global footprint, they give you global technology, global governance, things of that nature. So I think it's a welcome change, and it's a welcome development rather, I should say, and I suspect it will continue.
You know, we're talking about MNCs and their presence and their relevance in India. Let's talk about the global ambition and the global aspiration of Indian companies. We're also looking at a world at this point in time where global corporations are restructuring, global corporations are either divesting certain assets or are looking at joint ventures and so on and so forth. What opportunities do you see for Indian companies who are looking outside?
Yeah, again, I think for the benefit of the audience, I think one of the most active conversations we are having with corporate world right now is exactly this. There are companies available with very high quality manufacturing capabilities in Europe in particular, right? At valuations, just as we spoke about the valuations on the listed side, even in the unlisted side, at valuations which are very compelling, technology which is very, very good. And on top of that, you have the Indian entrepreneur's ability to identify further efficiencies and further saves from an already efficient unit out there, and then discover newer markets. So I think we have been part of dozens of such transactions just in the last 24 months.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked you the question. Yeah.
And just today we have closed 2 transactions of that nature. One is a hospital buying another hospital chain in UK. One is buying something in Europe. So, but it is not grabbing the kind of headlines that Chorus did or Jaguar did, because the ticket sizes are more in the $200 to $500 million as compared to much larger. I think on the much larger ticket sizes, it does appear that the very large Indian companies have decided that this is my Karam Bhumi. I will produce wherever in the world, but I will sell to Indian consumers. And if you have to sell to Indian consumers at the price points at which Indian consumers are willing to buy, you essentially have to have your manufacturing capabilities also here. So the medium-sized and the small-sized entrepreneurs and businesses appear to be buying outside India. Maybe they'll bring the technology back, or maybe they'll use it to sell it globally. But the large ones appear to be domestically focused.
You know, that's interesting that you talk about these $200, $500 million deals, and that's the kind of ticket size that you're seeing. And the aspiration of going global is more in the smaller enterprise level. Any sectors in specific where you believe we're going to see more of this kind of M&A, outbound M&A?
I think definitely in engineering goods, definitely in Germany. Because, you know, just as we have a trend in India of the second or third generation not wanting to join the business, and that's a prominent corporate problem today.
Is that a problem that you're helping solve also? the next gen of Indian family businesses who don't want to do business anymore?
Yeah, many of us in HSBC are hoping to be adopted by some of those people actually. So
while you're at it, can you put in our applications as well?
so I think there is opportunity out there to do the business out there. And again, to the earlier part, how will India achieve its ambition, Viksit Bharat, $10,000 per capita? I think it'll have to be a bit of everything that will have to come together, apart from, you know, female labor participation rates and things like that. So yes, I think there is wonderful opportunity and wonderful work to be done there.
I can't let you go without talking to you about what HSBC is doing to double down on your commitment in India. You talked about the various opportunities, but what does that mean as far as the bank itself is concerned in terms of hiring, in terms of what you intend to do here in India?
Yeah, so I think, I hope most of the people are a little familiar with HSBC, but we are a 160-year-old organization in India. We have full service from salary accounts, mortgages, credit cards, all the way to M&A, equity listings, debt capital markets, trade, payments, etc., etc. We are the only international bank which, in going back almost 10, 15 years, has asked for and been given approval by the Reserve Bank of India to open additional branches, 20 new branches. The first one of which opens in about 20 days, 28th of this month, so 20 days time or so. And so therefore, I think if there is a signal through actions, hopefully we are signaling that we are doubling down in this market. We think there is open-ended opportunity here to provide value add to our customers. And we think this economy needs a bank like ours, and a bank like ours needs an economy like this. So hopefully it will be a good narrative in the coming few years.
It's a win-win.
Yes, I think that's the right way to put it.
So 20 branches, new branches by when? The first, of course, you said by the end of this month. 20 new branches by when?
Yeah, I think the license conditions give us specific periods in which we have to open each cluster of branches. But just for context, right now we are there in 14 cities. By the time we end up opening these 20 branches, we'll be in 34 cities. So if you look at the map of India, we should be all over India. And therefore, any of you traveling through the country, if you see the logo which is up there, that's our branch. Please do visit. It's very expensive to open new branches. We could do with more customers.
It's hard to miss the HSBC logo if you're traveling through any airports in this country. Yeah. And now, of course, as you say, the logo is going to be across 34 cities in India. Hitendra Dave, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us a perspective on what's happening with flows, what's happening with India, and how global boardrooms are looking at India. Always a pleasure. Many thanks for your time today.
Always
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Hitendra Dave.